Hey guys, I'm Rob. This is episode 111 of the running journey. Episode 111 of the running journey. This one is one where I'm pretty excited. I got to tell you guys, I'm pretty high. I'm coming off one of the coolest experiences in my life. The CMB Canada Half Marathon happened on the weekend, and I want to give you guys a quick update on that before I get into our guest. We have a guest today. The guest is Tristan Da Silva. He is a phenomenal Winnipeg runner who runs 200-kilometer weeks. That's not a joke. He runs 200-kilometer weeks, week in, week out. He is dead set on a crazy time at the Boston Marathon. He wants to do like a 2:35 or maybe even better. He's got long-term goals of who knows, Olympic qualifiers. He's a Manitoba athlete that started running just a few years ago, and we have him on the show today. So I will get to Tristan. But before that, I want to talk about the CMB Canada Half Marathon. This is my race. It's in its third year. Last year we had 60-something runners, I think. And I'd say it was a success last year, although we dealt with a ton of issues. You may recall me and Marco going out and the city having not coned and not marked the course. So Marco and I had to mark that course in the morning. We didn't know they hadn't marked it. So we spent all morning scrambling to mark the course. By the time we got back to the race, we had like 10 minutes. And then I ended up running, and I ran with the Premier Wob Canoe. And I'd run with him 2 years in a row, back-to-back years. And this year he couldn't make it. I guess he's busy with like tariffs or something. I'm not sure, something political that's busy. But this course, I got to tell you, so all week I was stressed out. We had over 100 registrations, and the registrations kept pouring in all week. We had a crazy blizzard Thursday, Friday, which really, really put a damper on things because, man, we had ideal conditions earlier in the week. It was like 7-8 degrees, snow was melting, like running outside felt like just the greatest thing on earth. And then all of a sudden you get this blizzard. Not only do you get this blizzard, you had like -2 to 2 degree weather. So what ended up happening is it would thaw, it would melt, and then it would freeze and melt and freeze. And then you had this crusted ice, and then you had a soft powder on top. Then you had the kind of die-hard sheer ice underneath. Created what I would call, no joke, the worst running conditions I have ever seen, I'd say, in my life. I'm not kidding. I went out the night before. I biked the entire course. That was a disaster. It took me an hour, 29 minutes to bike 21 kilometers. It was just slush and ice, and I almost killed myself a few times. And I was just really, really worried that someone was going to get hurt, really worried. And I was like, where do you draw the line? At what point do you draw the line and you say, we're not having this race? I mean, we're Manitobans. We run outside, but like, what do you do? Because I got hurt last year at the hypothermic half. There was sheer ice, and I slipped and I wiped out, and it ended up costing me a week, if I recall, of running, and I wasn't happy. I was like, what if that happens to someone else? So I hummed and hawed. I talked to my guys, and eventually we decided to go ahead and have the race anyways. And I am so glad that we did. It was just the coolest day ever. I went out in the morning. I put the cones out. Diego and Marco, we were all up bright and early before, I think before 6, like 5:30 or something. And man, thank God I got those guys. Marco, Diego. I don't know if you guys listen to the podcast, but you guys delivered. I'm not sure where I'd be without you guys. Man, thank you guys so much. So happy to have you part of my life. More than volunteers. They like pretty much put this whole thing together. So I'm so grateful for them. Also grateful for Rachel de Gagné. She's the executive, or I guess director of operations for the, or director of program, I think, for the Canadian CMB Foundation. Sorry, her title escapes me because she used to be director of operations and she became executive director. Anyways, so Rachel de Gagné, huge help. She flew in and helped with the race. Volunteers. So my parents were there. Ma tante Sue, ma tante Simone, some cousins, some friends, some hockey teams, some employees, colleagues. So everyone came out. We had more than enough volunteers. We had a volunteer at every turn. And the race went off without a hitch. So I gave a speech before the race. I said, guys, this is probably the worst running conditions you've ever run in. Thanks for coming, but no personal best today. I also promised anyone who did have a personal best, I would buy them a beer. So if that's you, if you had a personal best on Sunday, March 30th at the CMB Canada Half Marathon, you need to reach out to me through Strava, through my website, robtatro.com. Somehow reach out to me. I will buy you that beer. That's not a joke. And then the race went off and people started running, and I was just like crossing my fingers, dreading the whole time. I was just waiting to hear from the group chat, no one's injured, no one's injured. And like every minute that went by that no one was injured, I was pumped. The guys under the Provencher Bridge, oh my God, it was sheer ice with powdered snow on top, downhill. I was like, someone's going to die here. Like, it's for sure going to happen. But no one died. So no one died. No one broke an ankle. No one twisted an ankle. No one fell. No one got hurt. It was just awesome. We kept reminding people at every turn, like, slow down, it's dangerous, slow down. So, man, that was just so grateful that it happened. But the reason I'm on such a high is because my son, my 16-year-old son, told me the week before, he's like, Papa, I think I want to run in the CMV Canada Half Marathon. And my son was born with congenital CMV. And he is the reason that my wife and I, well, he's not the reason, but he's the catalyst. He's what got my wife and I going down this road of fundraising, raising awareness, creating a charity. We created a national charity, the Canadian CMV Foundation, and we've become world leaders in, I'll say, in the space. Like, we first place on earth that had universal screening. So CMV is a congenital birth defect. It's the number one cause of infant disability. You've heard of other infant disabilities, Down syndrome and spina bifida and FAS. This impacts more babies than all of those. So it's this very, very, very serious condition. It kills, blinds, causes deafness in a lot of babies. And we wanted to make a difference, my wife and I, because there is a screening method that exists where you can screen babies at birth. And if you screen them at birth and they're symptomatic, you can treat them. If you treat them, they have better outcomes. Better outcomes meaning they don't lose their hearing, they don't get the cognitive impairment. They're in much, much, much better shape. They're antivirals that you give to a newborn baby. Kind of like chemo, not quite as hard, but it's that kind of treatment. And the baby comes out much, much, much better. So we started fundraising and raising advocacy. And then to have my son run in this race, like, first off, I could have never even imagined that I would ever be able to run a half marathon or organize a half marathon race. I was overweight. I was a fat dude that wasn't running and didn't care about himself and was just completely throwing his health out the window, didn't care about it. And then here I am now trying to do a sub 3 hour marathon in London, almost 3 years sober. I'm positively influencing people with respect to some of their choices and become a leader in the space, I'll say, with sobriety and running. And here we are hosting a race, over 100 people registered. My son, it just felt full circle for me. My son, who's got CMV, told me he wanted to run. He came out, no training whatsoever, came out and ran this half marathon. He did it with my wife. Now, my wife runs and she's done 2 hour halves before, but they did it together. I think they finished in 2:50 or something like that. But the time's irrelevant. It's just the fact that my son, he's been so involved in the charity and he wanted to come out and run. And man, it was just, I was on such a high Sunday. So Sunday finishes, and I had a 22-mile fast finish I was supposed to do on Sunday. And Sunday finishes, and we're at the course, we're putting the cones away, we're putting all the signs away, we're filling up the trailer and water and Gatorade and bananas and putting everything away, and then the speakers and the music. And so I get back home, it's like 2:00, and then I'm like, all right, I got to go run my 22 miles. So I went to the gym at my office treadmill, and I crushed a 22-mile fast finish. I felt so good, guys. I can't tell you how good I felt. I am jacked for this. I have one more tough week, which is this week. I have another 22 miles to do on Sunday with a 10-mile fast finish. I did my 10-mile fast finish progressively faster. I did a Charlie, but I do it in 2-mile increments. So I did 2 miles, then 2 miles faster, then 2 miles faster, then 2 miles. And the last 2 miles were like 6:30 or something. So for me, that's very fast. And it's pretty exciting to think that I did it after the CMV Canada Half Marathon. So anyways, I came home that day and I was just like high as a kite on endorphins and dopamine and just emotion and raw emotion. And I just wanted to hug my family and tell everyone I loved them. And I want to hug all the volunteers and tell them I love them. And everyone who came out and ran, The race, by the way, was won by a guy named Cole Slater, ran a 1:23. Goodness gracious, in those conditions. Michael Cooper, I believe, finished second. It was his second ever race, I think. 1:27. Victor, my buddy Victor, triathlete and cyclist and journalist, finished third. First female was Kate Story. I believe she came over from Edmonton. My buddy Todd Friesen, that has been on the show before, had a great day at 1:32. He thought 3 minutes of what would they call it? The handicap, perhaps, or disadvantage for running on the snow in the conditions. I think it was way more than 3 minutes, Todd, but I could be wrong. Bob Cox, ageless Bob Cox, who keeps defying everyone and crushing half marathons, did a 1:41. Dwayne Wheeler, who's going to do 6 majors this year, if you can believe it or not. He's a Manitoban, and he's doing Boston, London, back to back. He's doing Tokyo, Berlin, and I think New York. Anyways, I think he's doing 5 or 6 majors this year. Crazy. His second go around. Dwayne, my triathlon buddy, my Ironman buddy. First Ironman I did, he was there. Second Ironman I did, he was there. And then all my run club guys came out. Marie-Guillaume Champagne, Phil Marcoux, Pierre Piché, Le Broquet Run Club. He counts. Grains, François Grenier had a great day. There's other run club guys. Grant Woods was out there. Georges Grenier came out. I'm missing some, I'm sure. But anyways, the run club came out. Donnie Kaler came out. Then there's like Winnipeg run, like Jen Sacco came out, had a great day. She said she wasn't feeling well, but I'm glad you came out. A lot of my staff came out. So pretty neat to see all of you guys come out and run a great day. Uncle Mo, who started running 1 year ago, is in his 60s and now is crushing half marathons. So proud of you, Uncle Mo. And of course, my wife and my son, who completed my son's first ever half marathon. So I was on an incredible high, so high. I just felt like this is why I run. Like, this is all full circle here. And I had so much joy from that day on Sunday. My daughters came out and they were handing out medals to everyone. They were handing out the medals to the runners. So it was a full family experience. We raised $10,000 for charity. Man, like, you couldn't have a better day. So here I am being grateful to all of you. No injuries. So lucky. So thanks to all of you. Now let's get into this guest today. You're going to love this guy. He runs a lot. He is very humble. He's got some big goals. I really enjoyed my conversation with him because he talks a lot about, how he sets his frame of mind up for running. And it's not, I think he's doing it the right way. He's very, very focused on nutrition, hydration, recovery. Man, this guy is doing all the right things. He's doing 1 million miles. He's done probably 5,000 miles in the last 6 months, 5,000 kilometers in the last 6 months. That's no joke. He's averaging 200 kilometers a week these days. He's going to try to crush the Boston Marathon, and his A race is Fargo coming up in the month of May. This is my conversation with Tristan Da Silva. Please enjoy it, guys. It's a good one. Hey guys, welcome. Rob Tatro here. Charlie is out enjoying the countryside of Germany, as I see on his Strava, and as our guest here accurately pointed out to me. So today it's me, Rob Tatro. I'm interviewing Tristan Da Silva. If you guys don't know Tristan Da Silva, you're not a Winnipegger, I guess. This guy, man, you're fast. 1, 2, you do a lot of miles. I don't know anyone who does as many miles as you. And 3, you're incredibly supportive and active in the community. So I've been wanting to get you on for a while. I'm so glad it kind of worked out here today. Tristan Da Silva, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. I'm very grateful to be on the show today and to share my journey in running. It's been a very wild journey, that's for sure. 5 years so far I've been running. Started all the way back during COVID when one of my friends, we had no soccer because soccer was what I was doing before I started running. So
You're a
He
soccer
has
player? That's
yeah.
what you played in university or something?
Um, I played, for men's team.
Okay,
Uh,
you were a good Manitoba soccer player.
yeah, I was always,
Developed some cardio there.
yeah, I wanted to play, pro soccer, but, I didn't really get to that level, unfortunately, but it all worked out in the end with a different sport, which I'm very happy with. But anyways, we came across wanting to do like some 10Ks like every so often. Like we started this process where we wanted to do a 10K every other day because we had no training. So to keep up with like our fitness and stamina. That's what we did, and instantly fell in love with running. Even though the first day I did the 10K, it was the first time I actually ran on pavement, so I was very sore the next day. But I was just excited to do it again and again and again, and that's what led to a streak that I have now. That's been, I think it's day 1652 or something like that
Oh,
in a
so
row.
5 years of not missing one jog.
Yeah, almost.
So
Almost.
what's your definition of a streak? Is it like 2 miles or something?
Well, it started off as 10 miles every day, and then I slowly started to increase it to 11, then to 12, then half
Okay, but
marathon every
but
day.
Tristan, what's the definition of your streak?
Um,
What's the
uh,
minimum you have to do for it to count as a streak?
oh, like about a mile probably,
1 mile. Okay,
or a
yeah. So
kilometer.
if you're having a bad day and you're really sore, have you had a few days where you just went out and did the mile just to do it?
Yes, yeah, I've had a few days where I was like injured, or say like I was coming home from a flight, or in the process of being in the airport. I remember last year in Boston, I was very sore after the race, and I was just like, "Okay, I just gotta like jog around the airport and just say that was like a kilometer. Gotta keep
Yeah,
the
I've done
streak."
that. I've done the airport jogs. Yeah, I've done those.
Yeah.
Those are fun. So 5 years ago, you started running. Wow, during COVID, doing 10Ks. So you start with 10Ks and then you love it. You start loving it right off the bat.
Oh yeah.
And you just before we get further to that, I need to tell you guys, this guy, you've been like check out his Strava. If you're bored, check out this guy's Strava, Tristan Da Silva, Dasilva. How many kilometers did you do last? Did you do 10,000 kilometers? I'm guessing. I don't know.
I think so. I
9,000?
I don't really keep track on yearly mileage. It's more just like weekly for me. I like to get around 170 and above. So like
That's based
170.
on what? That's based on what?
Oh, just like I just have that as a goal, like
Okay.
170 kilometers a week.
And most of your weeks lately have been 200 plus.
Yes. Yeah.
So are you training for something right now?
Yes, I'm training for the Boston Marathon. It's coming up
Oh,
in
yeah, let's go.
yeah. It's my
Yeah,
second one.
yeah. So my brother will be there.
Oh, that's
I
awesome.
need to ask you what your goal is for Boston.
Um, well, it's to not have a reoccurring episode. That's what happened last year, where I bonked and ended up finishing way over 3 hours. My goal is to finish sub 240, maybe 235, and just not to bonk during the race because um, come mile 16 last year, I was feeling absolutely awful from going uphill.
Yeah.
After I took the downhills very quickly, I think I finished the first half that downhill in Boston in 1 hour, 11 minutes, which was, quite fast for me at that time. So, definitely not gonna make that mistake again because now coming back to it again, I have a little more experience, so gonna take the downhill a little slower and the uphill faster this time.
Okay, we'll get to Boston and your plan for that in a sec, but why don't I take you back a little further to the beginning? So you're running COVID. Your next race is Boston, but you're running COVID back then. You start to do your first 10K. You love it. So you go
Mhm.
back out 2 days later, you do another 10K, then you start increasing the mileage. What were you thinking at that time?
Um, I kinda felt like it was just something just to keep myself fit for soccer, but then I started to become more serious with running, and then I found out about, oh, there's races here that, it's not just the Manitoba Marathon. You have the Rotary, you have the Gimli 10 mile, you have the Winnipeg Police half marathon, then the firefighter paramedic half, and I was like instantly hooked because it was like, oh, this is neat. This is something I'm really good at. I had a previous background in track and field and
High
like
school?
junior high, yeah, in high school as
What did
well.
you did 3,000 meters or something, 1,500?
Uh, Funny enough, I did 200s. Also
Yeah, I
did
guess you're
the
that fast.
60 the 60 meters.
That's crazy.
But
All the
there's
sprinters I know in high school, like none of them have ever thought of doing a half marathon or a marathon. It's crazy.
Yeah. I don't know, I always had that kind of that stamina in me because it came from soccer, but I, uh, I remember my first real injury. It was like a groin tear, and that happened during track, and that's kinda what led me to stop doing, like, athletics and just stay focused on soccer because I was very scared that it would kinda ruin my progress with soccer, but I kinda regret that now because as my mom told me, she said, "You should have stuck with track because clearly you're very fast, and I think you would have gone very far with track and field." And
Yeah,
I
would have been
agree
an
with her.
Olympian. Would have been
Yeah.
an Olympian.
Well, I don't know about that because we got a lot of great guys here. So
It's not too late though. It's not too
yeah,
late for you to be an Olympian. How old are you? You're like a young guy, aren't you?
I'm 26. I turned 27 later this year, so there's still lots of time, thankfully.
Yeah, because like most Olympians, we had Melinda Elmore on here. She made the Olympics like 16 years after her first Olympics.
Oh wow.
She did the 1,500 meter and then she did the marathon later on in her career. So 16 years apart. So she was there as a 40-year-old, if I'm not mistaken. So
Wow.
people are hitting their strides for marathon running, for distance running, for ultra races a lot
Yeah.
later than you got a lot of time, is all I'm saying. Okay, so what was your first race? Do you remember?
Well, it was the Manitoba Marathon in 2022, the one that they canceled halfway through.
Oh yeah, yeah, the hot one.
Yes, the very hot one where
That was your first race? So you never did a race before that?
no, and I'll break it down
That
for
is
you.
less than 3 years ago.
Yes, and
Wow.
I learned quite a lot from that race. I went in not with any strategy, no gels, no water. I just started the race and absolutely booked it, and I think, like, mile 16, I was, I think, 3rd, and I just went through halfway at 1:15. I've never done that before in my life for a first race. Come
That's crazy.
come yeah, mile 18, was not feeling so good. They closed all the water stations, and then I remember taking a turn into a neighborhood, and then I passed out. So,
Did you actually pass out?
yeah,
What happened? They had
um
paramedics there or something came and got you?
Well, thankfully, I had a very nice neighbor that came and helped me up. I was trying to get up and crawl up and try and get back going with no fluid in me. I had nothing but probably a freezy that was given to me probably 30 seconds before I collapsed. So that was a
So were you, so you were like my brother then, you thought, gels and well, that's for losers. I don't need that. I'm good enough. I'm fast enough. I can do this without.
I was well, it wasn't that. It was more like I had no knowledge on
Yeah,
any of
okay.
those aspects. I
So you
watched
just
one video on YouTube on how to get a sub 3-hour marathon, and I guess I completely missed the part of the hydration and gel.
arguably one of the most important things.
Oh yes.
So did you finish that race?
No, unfortunately not. I
Okay.
had to I had to call it quits there. It
Well,
was
you and most other people that were running that day.
Yeah, it was heartbreaking because I had my mind set on trying to qualify for Boston, and then
Oh,
that's
in your first race.
yeah,
Yeah.
first marathon too.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was quite a learning experience, but it was a good learning experience, even though it was
So
very
this is like your second year of running, or you ran in 2020, then 2021 a bit, and then 2022. So were you doing like following a training plan of some sort? Did you have a coach?
no. I didn't have a coach until I would say late, what was it? Late 2022 when I would say he's more a mentor. His name's Nicholas Kuzmenko. You probably know of him.
Yeah.
He We met at a race. It was the Rotary Half, and yeah, it was a really good race. He was in it, and I was looking to get a PR in the half, and I believe I got like 114. And he was right in front of me, and we were kind of battling out. And he showed me one of the brilliant things of running, the last kick of a mile when I thought I had him, and then he just
Blew
turned
by
on
you.
the turbo and he left me in the dust, and I was like, wow, that's insane. And then right after, like I think a few days after, he contacted me on Facebook, and we've been talking ever since and training together. And he's been giving me a lot of help and knowledge into the sport of running, and that's been massive to me because I think without his help, I wouldn't be where I am today.
Well, I think we all have a lot to learn, and it's really humbling to hear. It's great to hear you say that. Listen, here's a guy who's running 235s, and he wasn't taking gels and wasn't taking water and didn't know anything about running. So I think it's a check, a gut check, and a reality check that we all have to just say we all start with nothing, no knowledge. So like, don't be embarrassed. Don't hesitate to ask, reach out to the running community. Like, I'm sure there's a lot of listeners here. I felt the same way. I was like, I don't know anything about running. Like, I don't know. And you just pick up something here, you pick up something there, you hear something, you don't know if it's true. You listen to it, you try it. I'm so grateful that I have a coach, because then I could just say like, hey, is this real? Am I doing this right? Am I doing this wrong? And it helps so much. So I'm glad you have a coach. So then, okay, so the Rotary was the first race you finished.
Uh, it was the Gimli 10 mile, which was the first one I finished. It was kind of a redemption race for me because I felt like I had a lot of promise coming into that one, considering how well I did before I collapsed.
That's like the Isling Doggin Zingen or whatever it's called.
Sorry? Oh
It's
yes, yes, that one. Yeah, yeah,
Isling Doggin Lisling
yeah.
Sling.
And it's funny because it was perfect since I have a cottage there, so it's not too far away for where I would race. And I finished that race in second place behind a Reimer there. You may know him.
Yeah.
Really good racer.
Island Dingadagurin. Got it.
Yes, yeah, that
What
one.
was your time there? Do you recall?
I have it. I'm trying to look on my wall here because I have all my bibs. I think it was 56 something.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
56,
really fast.
56:20 for my first 10-mile race.
Nice. So how many miles are you doing at this point in 2022 when you're just running? How many or kilometers per week? Are you doing like 100, or are you doing like
I think about 100, 110, 120, I believe.
okay.
Um, it was more, let's just say, not as consistent because I was also playing soccer. So on days where I'd be playing soccer, I wouldn't be running as much. So I'd probably be running around like 10 or 11K those days because then with soccer, I would probably have ran about 7 or 8K. So, and I used to get quite sore from that, but now my recovery process is a lot better now. I've focused more on recovery, a lot smarter, listen to my body more.
Let's
So,
talk about that briefly since you brought it up. What do you do for recovery? What are the tips? What do we need
um,
to hear?
I get asked this a lot because of the mileage I run. So I like to prioritize sleep and the amount of hours I get, not just like sleeping, but being in bed too. I think that's very important because you can sleep say 7, 8.5 hours, but I think quality time in bed makes a difference because laying down obviously will help with the
So
recovery.
so you do like no screens, and you're wearing your Normatec space boots, and
I,
you're reading a book and at like
uh,
9 o'clock or something?
no, I wish. My sleep schedule is kind of all over the place, but I strive to do that though, especially this month because of the race that's coming up. I want to be able to train my body to be able to go to sleep earlier and wake up earlier. I tend to do kind of like a bit of like deep breathing before bedtime. So just like to calm my mind and
Yeah,
my body.
that's a big one.
Yes, like 10 minutes, nothing crazy,
But
but
even if you just did 2 minutes,
yeah.
it would be significant
Oh
for
yeah.
most people.
Yeah, exactly. And and more so about like the recovery, I stretch about like 3 to 4 times a day, a lot of foam rolling and like
So what do you do when you stretch? You just get up, you do like a 5-minute routine and you just go
yeah,
through 4 or 5 exercises. You do like um hamstring what do you do? You do like
I would say like aerobic and like on the ground like with the mats and just like using my foam roller. A lot of people they find it difficult to use the foam roller. I don't know. I really like the foam roller a lot because it just allows me to like decrease the tension in my muscles and I just feel really good after that. And I think over time as I've gotten older, I've realized how much stretching makes such a difference because
it's
I didn't really stretch much when I was younger and I got injured quite a lot. So
dude, I'm 43 and I don't stretch ever. So like it's funny to hear you say as I get older, I'm like, oh man, this is a kid. This guy's a kid and he's more wise and mature than I'll ever be.
oh,
Good for you, man. So yeah, stretching. I'm joking when I say I don't stretch, but I like only recently started doing any stretching of any kind. And it's like, nah, I'll be fine tomorrow, is what I always say. I'll be able to run. What's the big deal? I'll be able to run.
yeah.
But yes, I've noticed since I've started stretching a noticeable difference. So you've noticed as you're quote unquote getting older that it helps.
Oh, massive difference. I feel less stiff. I mean, I would usually I remember there were times like back 2 years ago if I would do like the runs I do now, I would be incredibly sore the next day and it would be like a bit of a grind to start running again, but now it's just like I will wake up and I'll be like, "Oh yeah, I'm good. Just got to stretch, take my time here and then get going for a run." And then yeah, it's all good.
So let's talk about that. What kind of runs are you doing now?
So as we get closer to the day of the race, I think this week and next week will be like the last 2 weeks where the mileage will be like kind of heavy, and then we'll start
Yeah.
to decrease it. But I'm doing a lot of like fartlek slash tempo kind of runs with a little bit of recovery slash float miles in between the workouts, and then I'll have double days. So today I have a double day. I already did my run before this, so I did like 13 miles at kind of like a bit of a steady pace for me. So like around 3:56 per kilometer. And that was with the wind as well. It was kind of miserable today. So I'll do that and then I'll be on the track tonight doing probably some threshold VO2 max work at around I'd like to say anything between like 4:30 to 4:50 mile pace. Like we'll probably do a workout around like 6 to 7K of that volume. So
430-mile pace. How long can you sustain that pace for?
uh it's quite difficult sometimes.
You're telling me it's quite difficult. That's like absurdly fast.
I mean my all out mile I tested it out last year. It was a 4:32 and that was like against the wind as well, kind of in darkness. It was kind of just not planned. I was just feeling good one day, and I was just like, okay, let's just do a time trial in a mile, see how it goes. Because I was watching the Olympics and I was watching a Jakob Ingebrigtsen, and
Of
I
course.
and I was like, you know what, I kind of want to try and test this out because it just makes me want to run. So, and I did, and let me tell you, a mile is one of the most grueling distances. It goes by very quickly, but it feels like it
Oh, it's torture.
yeah, it is. I think
It's
the shorter distances are not as fun as the longer distances. They
well,
feel
at least the marathon, it's you're not going one I don't know what your high heart rate is. You're a young guy, maybe it's 200 or I don't know, 190, whatever your high heart rate is. But at least you're not doing that the whole 4.5 minutes of straight torture. All you could do, you can't get enough oxygen in, and it's
Yeah.
just like constant pain, right? That 1 mile.
Yeah. Yeah.
At least the marathon, like you're kind of easing into it, right? And it's
Yeah.
the first, even at your best max effort pace, your marathon, the first half is fun because your heart rate's not your max yet. And then
Mhm.
you kind of look forward to that, miles 18, 19, 20, the
Yeah.
quote wall or whatever. And then you're kind of looking forward to the end part. And then the end part's hard, but it's
Yeah.
still fun. Like I think marathons are more fun and easier than a 1 mile race or whatever.
Yeah, and that's why I do so many of them because I find them more enjoyable because I don't know, I feel like when it's your day in the marathon and everything is going right, I treat it like almost like a Sunday or Saturday long run. That's how I did in Fargo. It went so well. There was no issues with my stomach, no pain, no fatigue really, and like those are the races that you always just kind of look back and think like how lucky you were to be in that
Oh man.
situation and how
I
much you
think
want to replicate that
you
over and
just
over
want to
again.
go back. You just want to
Yeah.
go back. You just want to grab that harness and put it in a jar and just drink it like
Yes.
straight from the
Yeah.
faucet every chance you get, or just like look at it and just
Yeah.
think of how unbelievable that day was. I don't
Yeah.
have that many of these. I have maybe two of these
Yeah.
that I've had in my life, and I've had a whole bunch that have not gone my way.
Yeah.
A lot of them have gone like pretty well, but like those perfect, perfect, perfect days, they're rare, and it's
Yeah.
what got me hooked to this sport.
Yeah. That's how
Which
I only have one so far when it comes to the marathon.
was it Fargo?
Yes, it was
And
Fargo
tell me about
last
that
year.
day. Tell me about that
Um,
day.
well, probably I'll tell you about the entire time and before. So the preparation for it, and I don't recommend anyone doing this, but so we were driving the whole day. We get there, and then we have dinner. I still haven't done my shakeout run. We have dinner. I think we finished dinner at like 8 or 9. I'm kind of
PM.
like deciding, okay, well, I have to do a shakeout run, but I kind of have to wait for this food to settle. So I do a shakeout run at 10:30 at night. So I
Yikes.
think it was like about 5 or 6K, 10:30 at night. And I come home or in the hotel and it's just like I'm still eating stuff and I don't go to bed until like 12 or 1 and my friend's telling me, "Tristan, what are you doing? Go to sleep. We have a race in like 5 hours." I'm like, "Yeah, I know. It's all good." And then I wake up at around 4:35 and I do this is the thing I do. I always have a workout routine every single morning and no matter what it is, race day or not, I'm still doing it. So my friend, he woke up and saw me doing push-ups and crunches on the floor and he's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, this is my routine. I just got to get myself ready and because this is how I start everything and I don't feel necessarily good if I miss something. So I don't really usually sleep too well before race days. Usually max 3 or 4 hours
Yeah,
of
it's
sleep.
so hard because you're just thinking of that race, right? You're
Yeah,
so jacked.
exactly. But the entire race at Fargo is brilliant. I mean, I think it's got to be my favorite marathon because the hotel we always get it's like right next to the Fargo Dome, so it's just a walk. It's literally like a 1 minute walk to the Fargo Dome. It's the most relaxing pre-race thing ever because you're not in a rush.
Yeah, it's
So,
not Boston or New York where you're taking 5 buses and it's like
oh
a
no,
5-hour process.
yeah, no, nothing like that. This is very easy, thankfully. But the start of the race, um, I mean, the temperature was perfect. It was like I think it was like 17, 18.
Fargo is in June?
May,
May, okay, yeah,
end
it's
of
the
end
week
of May.
it's 2 weeks before or 4 weeks before the Manitoba?
I think
3 weeks
so.
before?
Yeah,
Yeah, anyways, go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah. So um, so we start, and I was actually at the start of the line. I wasn't the previous year, but I made sure to go at the start because I wanted to get a feel of the paces and stick with people that are at my pace. So I start and I ended up taking the lead first, and I'm like, okay, well, this is fun and all, but I want to have someone with me so I don't like just go off and then run a kind of a dangerous race and then get caught up and then I'll run out of gas. But no, I had a very good group around. I think for about maybe 17, 18 miles. It was just me and two other guys. One guy from Flagstaff, another guy was from, I believe, California, and we all worked together really well. That's probably one of the best pacing groups I ever had in a race. We all kind of took turns, kind of
Cutting the
leading,
wind.
and strategy wise, it was
Were
perfect.
you
Honestly.
guys talking like during the race?
Yeah, yeah,
You're
talk.
like, okay, I'll go for a bit here or
Yeah,
whatever.
talk about where
Pace.
we're from as well, and 'cause I was racing with one of this guy, he's from Flagstaff. He kinda he trains there, he trains in Fargo, but he trains mostly in Flagstaff, and we were talking, he told me that he trains with the, women's national team in the States, and I was like, "Holy, okay." So I'll stick with him because he clearly knows what he's doing, and, nice guy. Even when I dropped my gel, thankfully, we had a turnaround where we could pick it up, and he picked it up for me. So that was one of
Wow.
the only bad part about that race was I was in the middle of taking my gel, and it must have slipped from my hand, but thankfully, we had our we were on this route where we would then go and turn, so I would
Yeah.
eventually get my gel back.
But Tristan, if that's the worst part of your day, that's a pretty good day.
Oh, yes.
Dropping a gel.
Yeah, and I'm glad that was the only part because, yeah, the rest of the race was very
So you
smooth.
guys ran together for 17 miles?
Yeah, about that, and then
And
we all started to branch off. There was, the
who went
leader.
first? Someone went ahead?
Oh, yeah, this guy, I can't remember where he's from. I think, maybe Minnesota, I can't remember, but, yeah, he took the lead and then he ended up finishing 3rd, but,
Okay.
it just shows you, the, the marathon is a different beast, and you can never just, like you can never just, what's the word? You can never just kind of, like, take it for granted
No, you
how good you
can't.
feel
You
because I feel
you
like some.
gotta respect the distance every
Yes.
time. You gotta respect the race, and every time I
Yeah,
hear myself being too overconfident, my brother or myself will tell each other, "Hey, respect the race, respect
yeah,
the race." Like, if you're too confident, usually you fall flat on your face, right?
yeah, exactly, and, I think as, as we went to mile 20, I remember, because there was a cyclist, and this is the best part about being in sort of in the lead pack is you always have a cyclist with you, and
Yeah.
at Fargo, those cyclists are like some of the best cyclists I've ever had. Um, Always they have like water on right next to them, and I'll use them as kind of a water station at that point because yeah, why not? And out of the 2 times I've raced there, both times have been thoroughly impressed with how they handle things, and, um, I give them massive credit for me to have strong finishes because I think without them, I would have struggled massively, but, I think come towards, mile 24, the cyclist told me, he's like, "So you guys are all kind of, like, evenly spaced out by, like, 2 minutes." So,
You were what, in 3rd place?
4th place.
4th place, and there was
Yeah.
2 minutes between.
Yeah, pretty much. Um, I think, like, the winner of that race was, I think he finished 2:24. It was 2:24 first, 2:26 second, 2:28 was 3rd, and then me with 2:32.
That
So
is crazy fast, man. Did you do a negative?
Uh, I I think it kinda just stayed about the same.
Same pace. Well,
Yeah,
that's
same
awesome.
pace.
That means you were in the zone, obviously.
Yeah,
That's the dream, right? That's the
yeah,
dream is
I
a is
yeah, I think the best part about that race was coming towards the end. A lot of people were kind of, a bit irritated that the race wasn't finished in the Fargo Dome because I think there was, like, some issue with, like there was, like, someone taking up that space. I think there was some graduation ceremony going on there, so we had to go and finish it outside, which, to be honest, I actually prefer because come the final stretch, like a mile away, you can see the arch, And let me tell you, there's no better feeling in a race
Ah,
when you can see that. And
so good.
I was able to sort of sprint the finish for the first time ever in a marathon, and that was probably one of the most exciting things ever because as you do that, you kind of feel like Eliud Kipchoge come like Berlin,
You
and
had your fastest marathon, fastest mile time ever for your last mile?
uh,
Did a 4:27 or something?
no, that would have been funny if I could. I kind of felt my hamstring was about to go, so I was like, no, okay, we're just gonna ride this through safely because you're there. There's no one behind you.
Yeah.
I think the person that was behind me there about like 10 or 12 minutes behind. So
And
I
at 4:32, you have all the qualifications for pretty much any race on the planet, right?
yeah,
Obviously, aside from like the Olympic qualifiers and all that.
yeah, which is well, hopefully one day that will be my next
What
goal.
is the Olympic if you wanna just be in the Olympic, qualifier, you gotta run what, like a 2:24 or something like that?
I wish it's something ridiculous. I think you have to finish under like 218 or something like that. I don't know. I know for the American qualifier one, I think you have to finish like under just under 216
Okay.
to be, and that's just to be in the Olympic trials for the states.
Wow, crazy.
Yeah,
So, that was your best day. That was
yeah, by far.
so you're that was a year ago. Are you going back to Fargo this year?
Yes, absolutely. I'm hoping to. I mean, depending depending on how Boston goes, and regardless on how Boston goes, I'm kind of just treating this as kind of like a fun day out, but with a little bit of intensity.
Which one? The Fargo one?
Oh no, Boston.
Boston. Oh, you're just gonna have fun. You're not gonna that's not your A race.
No, it's not my race. It's
What
kind
is
of
your A race?
this. I think it's gonna be Fargo
Oh, it's Fargo.
and Manitoba Marathon.
Okay. So
Yeah,
Manitoba Marathon, how close are you to the leaders?
for the Manitoba Marathon.
Yeah, you can't touch them probably, right?
I could have won it last year.
Really?
Yeah, I was leading it, and then I had a stomach issue because I was unfortunately given a wrong gel during the race.
A
Actually,
wrong gel. What
yeah,
happened?
it was a goo gel or something. It was goo water. I can't really dissolve it, so I was told that it was water. And the funny thing was the Gatorade, the water, and the goo all looked like water. So you're not really thinking about it during a race, so you just grab whatever looks like water. So then I took it, and then
At the
instantly,
aid station.
yeah, and
Wow.
instantly had stomach problems.
What did you run in at the Manitoba Marathon last year?
I think it was like a 2:54.
Okay.
That was about 10 to 12 stops at a washroom during that process as well. It was horrible.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I
So Fargo and Manitoba are your A races.
I would say Fargo's my A race, but
Fargo, okay. So you
hopefully
wanna win that thing. You wanna win that thing.
I mean, I hope so. One day it would be nice, but I'm hoping to win Manitoba Marathon because that's kind of been my ultimate dream in like the next step of my racing time. So, because I think like if I want to go big, I have to win the hometown race.
Yeah, yeah.
So and the fact that I was just very close last year. It was just the stomach issues that would have that it made that difference, unfortunately, because the guy that won it, he was from Indianapolis, and me and him both ran a similar time to qualify for to be an elite in that race. So I think he won a 2:32 something, just a little bit slower than his race that he had ran the last time. And that was the time that he won was still a little bit slower than my time that I got in Fargo. So I was very disappointed that I couldn't just do it because of the
Okay,
stomach
so
problems.
last year, May, June, you're doing kinda 200. I pulled up your Strava profile here, so I have your weekly mileage last year. So you're doing kinda 200s, and then into June, July, August, you ramped up your mileage.
Yeah.
The 3rd week of July, 2nd week of July, you hit just about 400, um, kilometers in a
Oh yeah.
week. in a week.
Oh, wow.
And you were doing 250 to 300 all of June, July. Like that is a ton of mileage, dude.
It's because the weather was nice, that's why.
So, but like 400 kilometers per week. That's like that's more than
Are you sure that's, like, not just, like, there's biking in there as well.
ah, there must
Yeah,
be biking in there as
yeah,
well. Okay,
yeah.
that doesn't yeah, I was like worried about you.
Yeah,
But you are doing like you are doing 200s right
yeah,
now, aren't you?
yes, yeah, I think, what was it, the last, I think 4 weeks, I've hit, around, like, I think 195 to 210. I think I had a 211 week a couple weeks ago, so that was really good. I was really happy about that.
I think you're above 200, pretty like 201, 207, 186, 210, 208, 198, 190, 189, 201. You're averaging around 200 the last 2-3 months.
Yeah, that
That's a
that one
lot.
that 186 was a bit of a down week because I had a quad injury, so
Oh, 186 instead of 200. A bit of a down week.
yeah, that
I'm
was a
taking
bit
it
of
easy. I'm being facetious.
a I know.
I actually Phil Gore has been on this show before. You probably don't know who that is, but Phil Gore is probably the top 3 or 4 all-time backyard and ultra racers. He runs hundreds and hundreds of miles. When he does these backyards, he goes for days and days and days where he runs hundreds and hundreds of kilometers in one race. I checked his mileage, and he made a post yesterday, and I kept it because I wanted to ask you about it. His mileage is less. He does less miles than you.
It's probably
So
smarter.
what's that?
He's smarter than me
Well, I wonder if he. Sorry, go ahead. Finish. I didn't mean
it's
to interrupt.
hopefully, I mean, I hope this doesn't come to bite me in the ass, but, I'm just sometimes with the mileage I do, I kinda pray that my body doesn't shut down, but I'm kind of taking advantage of how good I feel now. So, maybe, maybe when he was, my age, maybe he ran like I did, and then he had an injury, and it made him learn a little more, so that's probably, something I should kinda consider too because, yeah, it's
I
great
don't
to do
know.
all
I'm
the
not an
miles.
expert. I'm not an expert, but it seems to me that like I don't know anyone. I do not know a person on the planet who does more kilometers than you. I'm sure there are some, but I don't know anyone.
Well,
And
the reason why I do the mileage is, well, it's mostly just try and get used to putting my body through that amount of stress. Like when it comes to, like, races like Boston, or one day I would love to do New York, those kind of tough races with a lot of incline, just to, like, put your body through as much hell as you can before the race so that, when things get kind of difficult, you kind of look back at your training that you did in, like, what, -30 weather, or those weekly mileages of like 200 plus, and you think, well, I just bulletproof my body, so if I can get through that, I can get through anything.
that's awesome. Just awesome, awesome philosophy. Do you so you've never done New York? You got to do New York, dude. I did it once. It was you qualify, so
I
but you have to fit it with your schedule, I guess.
I want to do New York so badly because I did the half. I did the New York City half, and that was my first international race, and I think that was in 2023. So that was the groundbreaker race for me, I think, because I prepped a lot for it, and that was when I met Nicholas, and he was giving me a lot of advice, and also Tyler Dirksen as well. I wanna shout out if you know him. He
Shout
lives
out
in
to Tyler.
Australia, and he's also someone who's given me a lot of advice as well. Those two, they helped me. They kind of mentored me in a way, and kind of introduced me more into the running world and what it was about, rather than just running insanely fast kilometers all the time. They introduced me a lot to, like, smart training with, not every day has to be like at huge intensity. You have your slow run days because, it's that what is it, that 80-20 rule, that 20-80 rule, where
Yeah.
20% of your runs should be at very high intensity, while the 80% should be your like sort of at like easier pace.
Yeah.
So
What do you
that
run your easy miles at these days?
um I would say right now it would be, I would say 415, 420, 425 per kilometer
Okay.
pace. So, I mean, in the winter time, it was kind of like that too, but probably around like 430 because it was just so like kind
Do
of
you run on a treadmill or do you all your miles outside?
mostly all my miles outside, except when it was that, I think that really horrible 2 weeks where we had it was like minus
Yeah.
50 or something like that. I just
Yeah.
I just couldn't stand it anymore, and plus I had an Achilles injury, so I kind of wanted to just not run on ice and just do like treadmill work, and it just felt a lot better. And that's something that I've learned a lot. I wouldn't have done that 2 years ago. I would have just said, nah, it's an injury, it would go away. But then it probably wouldn't, because I think when you look at different surfaces and the resistance it has, you gotta be very smart and listen to your body. So I had to do that. As much as it killed me being inside for 2 weeks, I had to do it. I'm glad I listened. I've become a lot less stubborn in that
You're older and you're more wise now.
yeah.
I started running around the same time as you, and I know that when I started, I was exactly like you. Like nothing would stop me from running, and it
Yeah.
didn't matter if it was a quad or a glute or a hammy. I'm running like
Yeah.
too bad, and it'll just figure itself out. And now, as I've gone through all these marathon cycles, it's like your health is so important because if you're not healthy, you're not running.
Yeah.
If you're not running, you're a miserable human being. Like, what would happen to you if you had to do 0 miles next week? You'd lose your mind.
I don't. I wouldn't want to know what I'm like.
Yeah.
I would probably tell everyone to stay away from me because it's probably going to be a very difficult few days of me complaining.
Yeah. Have you thought about the streak and if and when it ends and what it means to you, or is
uh, so I haven't really. Well, there's been some days where it's been like, you know what, it's better if I do it, no matter how many miles it is. I still go outside and run. If it's a crappy run or if it's a good run, it's a run regardless. And that's what I tell a lot of people, because a lot of people will come to me and say like, "Oh, well, your streak and this and that, and or how you train." And I just say, you know what, look, every run is not meant to be the greatest run. Those are hopefully are saved for your races, but a run is a run, and no one can take that away from you, regardless of how crappy it is or how good it is. I mean, it's work regardless. I mean, it's like a job, because I think, you can either have a good day at work or a bad day at work. As long as, you find the positives in it, then that's something. So, I mean, that's what I think everyone should take in when it comes to running, uh, no matter how good or bad the run is, it's a run. And that's more than not doing the run, because there's millions and millions of people around the world that would love to have the opportunity to run. So, and I'm very grateful that I can do it every single day.
I love that. Yeah, as Marlene Bigata would say, you're just putting the shoes on is 90% of it, right?
Yeah,
Just putting the
exactly.
shoes on, getting out the door is 90% of it, and take uh, take pride in that, and get whatever joy you can from it. Because yeah, you're right. We're not going to all run forever.
Exactly.
What are your long term goals? Have you thought of those?
Oh yeah. I've I mean, I've ever since I started road racing back in 2022, I've been privileged to see so many great athletes, and especially the ones that compete for the like the Bisons. I've always looked up to those guys, and I mean, I was always in awe with how fast they were, and I was just like, if I can get to that level, then I'll be very happy. But now thankfully I'm sponsored by a up and running physiotherapy racing team, and I'm with those guys now. After, I don't know what.
You're faster than them, probably.
No, I'm not.
No, okay.
No. But I'm getting closer. I'm starting to close the gap to stay with them more, but they are just phenomenal athletes. Those guys, Matt, Simone, Dan, and all those guys, Mike as well. I mean, to see what they're doing, that's also what's motivated me to become better. Is just looking at how they train and how they race, and you know the workouts they do as well. I mean, this is why I'm thankful to have Strava, because it's kind of like an insight on, you know, what you can look at for the people that you look up to, and you can
I
just
was
kind of,
I was gonna ask you about Strava. What do you think about Strava?
oh, I love it. It's I use it more than anything.
Why do you love it so much?
Oh, it feels like it feels like a place that's just perfect for me, because I mean, there's always Instagram, but you know, Strava it's something that is geared towards what I do. It's what I'm passionate about. It's running. It's not just running too. It's cycling. It's weightlifting. It's, I mean, people share their walks, their swims. So it's like you. It's kind of like a village where you just all come together and you just see everyone's progress, and it's very motivating, because on days where it's like you don't feel like doing something, and then you go and look and you see like a lot of people that you follow and what they've done, and just kind of get like a little bit of an urge to like, okay, well, that's motivating. Now it's my turn to do that. So
Yeah.
I love the app. I use
My
it.
turn. My turn to do a 200 kilometer a week, average kilometer pace 3:45.
And talking about like the long-term goals, I mean, one of my long-term goals was to hit those kind of mileage weeks, and because I'm very I love watching like, I'm pretty sure you know who Clayton Young and Connor Mance and all those guys are. I watch their documentaries on YouTube with the Boston build and their Paris marathon build. And it's funny because I'm like, okay, well, I'm not a pro athlete, but I do want to try and compete with the amount of mileage that they do per week. So I tried every time they would do a run, I'll be like, okay, well, I want to get up to that mileage for that day to kind of stay intact to where they wanted to where they run and how much mileage they do.
Okay,
Because
so weekly mileage is a goal.
yeah, weekly mileage
Sorry,
is
I
good.
interrupted there. You were gonna say because.
All good. But it's because I hope to be like them one day. And I think the ultimate goal for me is to run a 2:15 marathon. And
2:15.
yeah, 2:15.
Wow, that is so fast.
I mean, it's a lot of work, and it's a dream, but I mean, if I could even get in touching distance of qualifying for the Olympics one day, it would be pretty insane. Even if it's just one Olympics, or if I just even get into the trials, that would be considered a massive achievement for me.
I think you can do it, man. I don't know. I mean,
Appreciate it.
I'm not gonna say. I'll tell you about Strava. Is I pull up Strava and I see Tristan Da Silva crushing a 37 kilometer jog at 3:28 pace. I'm always like, wow, like that's you are just so relentless and you are so dedicated. And I have never seen like I think I'm dedicated, but I've never seen like a level of commitment to the craft in anything that I can think of that you have right now in running. So,
I
man, I think
appreciate
you
it.
can do it. You're so strong mentally. You got everything going for you. You've got experiences. You give a shit. You're young. You got a long runway ahead of you. You're obviously care enough about the maintenance and the hydration and the nutrition and the sleep.
Yeah,
Those are all the things that people fall apart on, and you got that. Anyone could, not anyone, but most, you know, anyone could run 200K, but the way you're handling it is built for longevity.
yeah. I like to try and I like to try and do new things and just try and surprise my body and see how much it can take, and then I'll see how much it can take, and then I'll just keep pushing and see how much more I can take. And I mean, credit to you when it came to when I saw what you and your brother did with the 7 marathons. What was it, in 7 days? I mean,
Yeah.
that was chaotic. I mean, if anything, that is pure determination. because what was it? Didn't you have to travel like a full day and then still run a marathon? I couldn't imagine doing that.
Yeah, honestly, you could do that in your sleep, Tristan.
Ugh,
Thank you for being kind and thank you for
I
being
don't know.
polite. I appreciate that, but you would definitely do that in your sleep, which takes me to my next line of questioning here for you. Do you have any interest in either stretching out the distances with races, road races, or like ultras or trails, or going down the path of Ironman?
Um,
You
honestly,
do
I'm gonna
you do
answer this.
cycle, right?
Honestly, I'm gonna answer this all of the above to that because that is certainly in the next couple of years. That's what I'm gonna be looking at as well. As a for fun thing when it comes to like on the side with my marathon training and all that. I would definitely love to do like triathlon and Ironman, and I definitely want to do a what is it, an ultra eventually.
Like,
Because
what do you want to do? Like a 50K, then a 50 mile, then maybe a 100 mile, then maybe
yeah,
like a,
yeah,
because you
because
could do all of those for sure.
I,
You could do
I
all
I would
those.
like to, I would like to do one of those. I remember talking to my parents. I said, "Oh, this guy David Goggins, he can do a 100-mile race," and it's funny because they're like, "No, you're not going to do a 100-mile race. That's too dangerous." I'm like, "Yeah, but it's fun though. You only do it once in your life. I'm not going to do it every time."
Yeah, I think you would do very, very well in those. I mean, I am 1,000th of the runner you are, and I really enjoyed those long runs. I did a 50K, then I did a 50 mile, then I did a 100K, then I did a 100 mile, and they've all been progressively more fun and progressively more difficult and progressively more torturous. But I always keep crawling back for more. And the difference between you and me is you can just slow down to your zone two and run like whatever 4.5 minute kilometer or 5 minute kilometer and just kind of run forever. And
Yeah,
you can hammer the mileage. You can get through the mileage that way. Whereby for me, I got to slow down at like 6 or 6.5 or 7 minute kilometers to get those 100 milers done. And then, you're not going through it as fast. It's taking way longer. There's more impact. It's less of a natural running stride. You're almost walking. So
yeah.
you like being able to run that fast and the mileage that you do every week, dude, you're a natural to do like a backyard or to
I would
do like
love to
a,
do that.
like, so I'm going to do a backyard. I'm going to try to qualify for Team Canada next year.
Oh, that's awesome.
Um, you should come. Like my brother and I, we've done one. He finished third. I finished ninth.
That is
It was
unbelievable.
fun. You would have crushed it. I guarantee you. So like
It
if you
looks to
want,
be a different animal because isn't those the backyard ones, they're on trails, aren't they?
they're on trails, but I
Yeah.
mean, for you, you run enough that it would be fine. It wouldn't be a big deal. You just do a little bit of trail running. You're mentally strong. You have the mileage. I can think of one person, two people now, three people that have done more miles than you. And I totally forgot about there are three people that I interviewed that ran across Canada. Cross
That would be
Canada
an interesting
Jacks.
goal to do.
Is that on your list?
That would be cool to do. I mean, you never know. Maybe 10 or 15 so years when I feel like, "Okay, what's next on the list?" That would be interesting
Yeah.
to me.
Keep that one in the back of your mind and park it because I'm going to run across Canada.
That's
I don't
awesome.
know what year, but in the next, I don't know, 5 years, let's say I'm going to run across Canada.
Hmm.
And like to get there, to get to the point where I'm ready, I got to run many 200K weeks, right? To train. And I've done 200K weeks before in my life, multiple times, but like not in a row like you have, right? So you're already able to do 200K weeks. So like Dave Proctor, who we interviewed last week on our show, he talked about how he was doing 200s and 250s and then he rolled right into his cross Canada run and he did it in 67 days. He went across Canada in 67 days.
Incredible.
So it's 105 kilometers per day.
Wow.
So, I mean, I don't know if you could do that. Maybe you could, but at a minimum, you could do a marathon a day for like 5 months or whatever, six
Yeah.
months.
That's something. That's
Yeah. Sorry.
really
I'm not trying to put ideas in your head. I'm just trying to tell you how it's unbelievable what you're doing and how, I've interviewed these guys and I've interviewed you and I just, it would transfer very, very well. But a backyard, if you're serious, if you want to try one, there's qualifications for Team Canada. You're probably going to have to do like 48 hours or something
yeah.
at the backyard to qualify for Team Canada. And that's what I'm thinking I have to do. My brother wants to do it too. And if you want, we'll get a crew together. It's a lot easier for doing it as a crew, right?
Yeah. Oh, that's
I,
insane. Yeah,
I'd love to run with you.
I'm gonna have to keep that in my mind, definitely.
Yeah, it would be like for like around now next year,
Oh yeah,
something like that.
yeah. I'll have to see. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. For now, it's just a dream. I'm not asking you to. It's just a dream if you want to run. And then, what's your next big? Are you doing a big fall race like Chicago
Um,
or?
I wish. I don't have the type of money after Boston probably. So
Okay,
because Boston, for going to Boston right now is it's bloody expensive. Let me tell you. Holy
yeah,
shit. But that's gonna be my big trip for the year. And probably the last time I do Boston for probably quite a while because I would like to do some other races
the
and
majors, the other
yeah,
majors.
yeah, I would like to do some other majors, but I wanted to give Boston another crack because I didn't feel like I had a good enough race for my standards. So this is kind of the redemption race for me because I felt like
Yeah,
I've prepared for a hell of a lot better than I did last year. Definitely did a lot more hills. Definitely did a lot of mileage. I mean, I would like to see one day how much mileage I've done in the last 6 to 7 months to prepare for this. It must be something
well,
incredibly
it's
crazy.
it's it's close to 1,000 a month. Like it's
Yeah.
900 a month for 6 months. So it's over 5,000 kilometers for sure you've done in the last 6 months.
It's funny. It doesn't like as the person that runs it, it doesn't really feel like I've ran that much. It kind of just feels normal at that point, which to me is probably the best thing I can say because to come into a marathon exhausted is not good. So to come into a marathon rejuvenated, kind of wanting to just really simply attack the living daylights out of the challenge. That's how I'm kind of feeling right now because I'm not as excited as I should be, probably because I'm still here and not on the plane. So once I'm on that plane, though, I feel like my mood and excitement is gonna be
Well,
really increased.
you're also building and you're into your last 2 weeks here, so it's
Yeah,
like heavy, heavy mileage and heavy workouts, and you've been
yeah,
building for a long time. So once you do your last heavy workout, which is probably Sunday next weekend,
probably, yeah. I think
then
so.
you're gonna or maybe Sunday this weekend, then the
Yeah,
hay will be in the barn and you'll be like,
yeah,
you could breathe for a bit, right?
yeah. Oh, I kind of feel like all the hard work is actually just really done. It's more just like just maintaining it at this point.
Okay, okay, so
Yeah.
you're already what is it, 3 weeks away?
I think so. It's like what is it? So
The
it's the first. It's
21st or
the first
something?
today. So it's
The
19 days
22nd.
actually.
19 days,
Yeah,
wow,
yeah.
wow.
The race
So
is on the 21st. So
yeah, okay, so less than 3 weeks from today, you're running. So yeah, you're kind of in the taper already. So
yeah,
you're probably a little sad too because you know you're gonna run less
yeah. That's
for
the
the
that's
next
the
2, 3
annoying
weeks.
thing. Uh,
So you get that less dopamine.
I hate tapers because
Yeah, tapers are no fun.
I for me psychologically tapers do a number on my on me mentally because it's like you're kind of cutting the one thing that I look forward to like every day. So because you kind of get you get the high endorphins and you get like the big satisfaction out of running like like for mileage what I do like I'll run like around 14, 15 miles a day every day and like that's like okay it's done I feel great but now it's like I gotta taper that back and be like it's gonna go to 14 then 13 then 12 and 11 then 10 Ks and it's just like okay let's just get this race going because I'm getting tired of cutting
Yeah,
mileage.
but the trade-off to get that your legs are gonna be like, "Oh, let's go," on
I
race
hope
day, and
so.
you're gonna just shoot out of the gate, and you're gonna have a day, my friend. You are gonna have a day. Mark my word, you're gonna have a day, Tristan Da Silva. I'm excited for you. I'm happy. I'm looking forward to it because I'll be following you and my brother that day, and a ton of Manitobans that are out
Well,
there.
yeah, and
So
that's a positive thing, seeing a lot of Manitobans out there. I mean, that's one of the things I look forward to is knowing that it's like you got people tracking you, and then you got people there racing with you that are from your hometown. And that's the best thing. like that you can have. Feels like
That
all that
experience
support you have.
is pretty special too. Like that Boston experience.
Yeah,
Whew,
yeah.
it's cool when you
Uh,
get into the city and you start realizing that
yeah,
you're coming, then the hills and it's I've
yeah,
only done it once, but it was just
oh,
awesome.
yeah, it's if I could move there, I would.
Okay. This has been great. We're over an hour already. I do want to respect your time.
Yeah.
Anything else that you'd like to touch on that I haven't asked you about?
Uh, no, not really. I think we've kind of hit everything on everything's been discussed. I think
All
been
right.
it's been
Well,
an awesome interview.
you're a fan. We are a fan of you. You're a friend of the show. We're going to follow you. We're going to report on you. We're going to keep all our viewers posted on how you did. You keep crushing your miles. And
Thank you
if you
very
want to
much.
run a backyard with me, you let me know. And I would encourage you to look into those ultras. They're very rewarding. And those Ironman are also. So I
I
wish
think
you good.
I'll have to.
What's that?
I think I'll have to. Yeah.
Yeah, they're fun. Okay, so good luck. And remember, guys, hope your training is going well. If you're able to give us a 5-star review, it'd mean a lot to us. Tell your friends about the show. Tell your family. Tell your friends about this cool episode you listened to with Tristan Da Silva and send it to them. Thanks so much, guys. More miles, less pace. See you in the next episode.